Hi, hello, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on our 7th edition of the Booking Manager Summit. It's very nice to have you here today. I would also like to take a chance to say hello to our virtual visitors. We are opening now the stage 2 with our first speaker and the topic, Building Your Perfect Crew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. James Ward.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Hello to everybody who's watching online today. We have the slides. Great. So before I get into it, I do need to let you know that I've just come off the back of a couple of weeks of having flu. So my voice is still not great, and my sinuses are blocked, and I can't really hear very well. But apart from that, we're in great shape. So I'm gonna do my best. So we're going to dive straight on in. Got 3 important numbers up here when it comes to the topic of what we're talking about today, which is recruitment, retention, and engagement in your businesses. 23. Highly engaged teams deliver 23% higher productivity, profitability, and customer service. 150. Replacing an employee can cost you up to 150% of their annual salary. And 82. Companies with strong onboarding improve new hire retention by up to 82%. So my name is James Ward, and I've been working with businesses for over 22 years to help them improve their recruitment, retention, and engagement. I'm a multi-award winning employer myself, and I've also consulted businesses to become award-winning employers. So today we're going to whiz through a whole lot of things. We're going to cover some recruitment stuff, some onboarding, retention, engagement. We're going to talk about the fact that staff are like your customers. We're going to talk about your marketing. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to have discussion. And we're going to have some commitment from you guys about what you're going to do within your businesses to take away from this session. So this is a workshop. So I am going to have to ask you to talk to each other and talk to me and make some commitment. Now, what I'm not going to be able to do is solve all of your recruitment and retention problems in the next 42 and a half minutes. But hopefully what we'll be able to do is give you some golden nuggets to take away from this session, like I said, to go away and implement those into your business. It's probably important that we really define what we mean by recruitment, retention, and engagement. So, recruitment. This is effectively the process of identifying great people that you want to bring into your business and the process of doing so. Retention is the process of making sure that you stay more attractive for them to stay with you rather than go to the person next door. And engagement is about making sure that your staff are bouncing out of bed every morning, wanting to come to work for you, and shouting from the rooftops how great you are as an employer to everyone that they know. So that's how we define the 3 of them. So just very quickly, we put a question to you. Who else in your world do we want shouting from the rooftops, saying amazing things about you? So they want to throw out a suggestion. So your customers, yeah? Your customers are the other people in your world that you want to be saying amazing things about you. And the amount of work and effort that we put in to make sure that our customers are saying nice things and having a very great experience should also be matched to the level of what we're doing within our businesses to ensure that our staff and our teams are equally as happy. I absolutely believe that really great recruitment starts with really great staff engagement. So let me just dig a bit deeper into that. We do need to look at recruitment from a different lens now. Recruiting is difficult. Finding good people is difficult. Every business has had challenges finding good people, whether it's seasonal, whether it's in the office, whether it's crew. Just a quick show of hands. Who has recruited in the last 12 months, let's say? Great, okay. And happy with that process? A good, was it a difficult process? Were you able to find the people that you were hoping to find? I'm getting a bit of, sort of maybe. Okay. So we all know how to run a good business. Yeah, we all know how to work in a good business. We market ourselves. We market our businesses. We have strategy. We have positioning. We target. We need to approach our recruitment in the same way. We give great experiences to our customers. We onboard them. We focus on customer care. We need to approach our retention like this. We ask our customers to give us feedback so we can improve. Do we do the same with our employees on a regular basis? And we strive to win awards. We want to be the best. We want to be better than our competitors. Do we have that same mindset as an employer? So all of these things will make a massive difference to you becoming a world-class employer in the future. Has anyone heard of this guy called Richard Branson? Little known entrepreneur. You may have heard of him. So Richard Branson's had some brilliant quotes over the years, but this is one of my favorites. Clients do not come first. Employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of your clients. And I think that's a really, really important quote there. So a quick audit time, all right? I want everyone just to spend 2 minutes, have a think about 2 or 3 people in your businesses that you cannot afford to lose. Now have a think about why they might leave tomorrow. Just spend 2 minutes, have a think, jot it down, maybe have a chat to the person next to you, and we'll revisit that, okay? This is really just to set the scene, sharpen the mind for this session. Okay, I can see people scribbling down. This is good. Okay, so hopefully you've got some people in mind in your businesses, and maybe starting to think about actually what is it that's going on in the business that may make them leave. So we're going to start off with, we're going to zoom in on recruitment now, out of the 3 key areas that we're focusing on today. The best advice that I can give anybody to improve their recruitment, stop recruiting. Too many people dive straight into this process, and usually reactively, most of the time people have left and they're panicking. They go straight out to market and they focus very much on the role they need to fill and the tasks that are involved in that role. Recruiting, especially now and especially in 2026, is a really strategic process. So stop recruiting. And actually what we're going to start to do, and hopefully today will help you do it, is review your whole approach. The next thing that we need to be doing is talk to your team. Out of interest, show of hands, who's run a staff engagement survey in the last 12 months? Okay, a couple of people, great. How about in your businesses, who has a 360 feedback model? So this is, yep, great. So we've got one person in the room. So 360 feedback is when you're doing reviews, feedback sessions. Are you giving the praise and the things that people need to work on? But are you also giving them opportunity to give you praise and also things that they feel that you should work on back? All right? If you are not doing staff engagement surveys, or you're not doing 360 type feedback, that is one of the biggest wins that you can do straight away to start understanding from your team what they love about working with you and what maybe they're not too happy with, because potentially down the line, those small things can become the big things that may make them move on in the future. Okay? Starting to think about those 3 people that you don't want to lose from the business. When was the last time we asked them how happy they were? I love engagement surveys. The other great thing about engagement surveys is hopefully you're gathering lots of information about what you do well as an employer and what people like about working in the business. You can actually use those things in your recruitment, within your recruitment marketing. So we're actually going to we're going to come into recruitment marketing a little bit later on, but that is your content about what you already do well. Let's just go back to the customer. We quite often ask our customer, what are we doing well? What do we need to do better? What did you like about the experience that you had? It's exactly the same process. So there's tons of different engagement surveys that you can do. Staff engagement surveys. My personal favorite is an engagement survey called Gallup 12. Anyone heard of Gallup 12? Okay, so Gallup 12 simple questions that you can ask your team. They give you an answer out of 10, and it is basically a net promoter score process for your staff. I'm sure some of you do net promoter scores with your clients. Exactly the same process, okay? Ultimately, would that team member bounce out of bed and recommend you as an employer to their friends or family is ultimately what you're trying to drill down to. But the 12 questions break down very different areas of employment. Really, really useful tool. We run Gallup 12 surveys for our clients on a regular basis. So come and grab me afterwards if you want to hear a bit more about Gallup 12. So once you've spoken to your team, you've started to get a good idea of maybe some things to work on, maybe what they're loving about working for you. We need to go through a process of creating your employer brand. We all have brands as a business. This is a marketing exercise. So straight away, I would say get your marketing team involved in this. Who are you as a brand to come and work for? All right? A document that I suggest to all of our clients that they should go and create is something called an EVP. An EVP is your employee value proposition. Okay? What do you offer as an employer to people when they come and work for you? Exactly the same in terms of what are you offering to your clients. We all have brochures for our clients. We all have brochures for our services. It's time to create a brochure for you as an employer. All right? So in your EVP, your employee value proposition, you're going to be including things like your culture, your benefits, your training and development. What's the workplace environment like? You can put in their information on management and leadership, history of the company, testimonials from employees. They're all saying nice things about you. You got those from the Gallup 12, remember? So you can gather all of that information, and you need to create a really nice brochure, the same as what you would create for your customers. It's a really fantastic tool, and there's been loads of studies that show that companies, big and small, so this isn't exclusive to big kind of corporate businesses. There's SMEs who use these approaches to hire, And there's tons of studies that show that within a recruitment process, when people are able to supply an EVP, where somebody is able to really understand about the company and what it's going to be like working there, before they even apply, it makes the engagement in that process absolutely skyrocket. Okay? Okay, next thing we need to do in our recruitment process, before we start recruiting, is we need to review the marketing. We will do marketing reviews every year as for our clients, for our services. We need to do the same with our recruitment. Where are we putting our recruitment marketing? Where are we putting our recruitment advertising? Is it getting in front of the right people? Do we know the profile of the ideal person that works in your companies? Yeah? Who's the ideal profile that matches the culture of your business? You can really gather that from things like the Gallup 12 and creating your EVP. Once we have that employee profile, very, very similar to your customer profile, by the way. We use our customer profiles to dictate our strategies for our marketing. So once we understand the type of people we want to get, where are they hanging out? How do we get in front of them? Yeah? You can start to really kind of build things like the structure of your interviews around this customer profile, if you like, this employee profile. By reviewing your marketing, you can check things like, is there any bias in our recruitment marketing? Yeah? Actually, is it attracting the right people? And it's amazing, once you start to kind of go through that process of reviewing all of these things, there's some real quick wins that you can make. Does your marketing look and feel like your employer brand? Or is it just a job advert that lists a whole load of roles and tasks that you might do within the job? That's not talking about you as a business. Okay. One of the things I just wanted to throw in at this point is something over the last 12, 18 months that we have seen to massively benefit companies with their recruitment is creating a referral scheme. Especially companies that have gone through the process and the other steps that we've just talked about. If you have really happy employees who do want to sing your praises, get them involved with the recruitment process. Create a referral scheme in your businesses. Those people will tend to hang out with similar people to themselves. And if they are the types of employees that you want, they fit that employee profile, and they're really, really happy with working for you, get them to be part of the solution with going to promote you to their network as well. Hours and hours are spent with all the other stuff that we've talked about. And this approach, the referral scheme, when I've seen this in businesses, has probably brought the most success, okay, once it's supported by a lot of the things that we've already talked about. Now that can look like, is a monetary award or a reward for people bringing other people into the business? Is there incentives? But actually, people just want to surround themselves with people that they like, that they trust, and that they feel confident they can go and do good work with. So get them involved with the process. Okay. First impressions. By the way, we still haven't started recruiting again yet. We need to map out all of the touch points, much like you would do with your customers, in your recruitment process. What is somebody's first impression of you once they start to look at, one, you as an employer, and two, maybe apply for a role with you? Your recruitment process has to be as good as the client's experience. every application needs to have a response. If it's automated, is it on brand? Every email communication needs to be professional. Because essentially, if somebody applies for a role with you or shows an interest in coming to work with your company, their first experience, what is essentially the first piece of training that they are getting to come and work for you. You are, at that point there, setting the standard in terms of how you are communicating with them and how you expect them to communicate with your customers and the people that or your suppliers and other people within your business. So if you start to think of it like that, suddenly that first touch point becomes really, really important. You're setting that standard then. Actually, the other piece with that is even if they don't come to work for you, if their experience from the very first impression is a good one, there's nothing better than maybe somebody who's applied for a job with you, it turns out they're not quite the right person, but they're still out there singing your praises. They're still out there saying that I applied for this role, I had this great conversation with this company, they got back to me straight away, they sent me this EVP document, they could really talk about the culture of the business. It wasn't the right thing for me at the time, or I wasn't the right person for them at the time, but wow, what a great company, I'd love to go work for them, or you should apply for them, and it just creates this kind of snowball effect. Okay, we're going to take another pause, a bit of another audit time. So another 1 or 2 minutes. Take a moment, based on some of the stuff that we've just talked about, and rate your recruitment process out of 10. Now the rule here is you're not allowed a 7. Okay, no 7s allowed. The reason being is 7 is essentially sitting on the fence. Okay, we need to give ourselves an honest score out of 10. Again, you can discuss it to the people next to you if you want. How would you rate your recruitment process? And what is one thing that you might do in the next 30 days to move that score towards a 10? We'll just take 2 minutes on that now. Okay, I can still see people jotting down, so we'll give it a few more seconds. Okay. Anyone feeling brave enough to share their score? Yes, please. A 6. Okay. And any particular commitment in what you might do in the next 30 days to move things forward? Okay, good one. I like it. Good stuff. Anyone else like to feel brave enough to share their score? A 5. Okay. And anything in particular you're going to do? Okay, yeah. Test the abilities from a skill set point of view. Yeah. So depending on the people that you have in mind, there's loads of different skills assessments out there. And yeah, definitely can if you wanted to catch up on that. The great thing about skills assessments, by the way, is if you have core people in your businesses that do, you know, they all do kind of like the same roles, and you think you can identify your superstar, start with them, because they then become the benchmark from a skills assessment point of view. Once you have that, you can actually then start using those skills assessments if that's something that's really, really important in your business within your recruitment process, in terms of kind of testing candidates. Okay, thank you. Thank you for throwing out the scores there. Okay, so we've got the recruitment bit out the way, or certainly the recruitment assessment out the way. We're now allowed to start recruiting again. We're in a much better place. We know who we are as a company. We know the type of person we want to hire. We know that that all of our communication and all the touch points of anybody getting interested is great, and we've got a really, really nice EVP that we can send out to interested people. So onboarding. This is actually the biggest predictor when it comes to engagement and performance. And companies still get this bit really wrong. Remember my stat from before, 82% more likely to stay in the business if they have a great onboarding experience. This bit we miss because we're always thinking, God, I've got to recruit, find this person, that all takes extra time, I've got to do all these interviews, I've got to find this person. Great, I found my person, let's just get them started, let's just get on with the business, let's just get on with our lives, all right? This bit is as important than the recruitment process. Really great employers turn this bit into a strategic experience. Don't let it be an admin exercise, okay? So I've got an onboarding top 5 here so a few more golden nuggets for you to take away. Some of them will hopefully surprise you about how much time we talk about when we talk about the onboarding process. Okay, onboarding needs to start before day 1. 50% of all new employees decide whether they are likely to stay in a business long term or not within the first week. Fact. Okay? Now that can be consciously or subconsciously, but that's a pretty big stat. So we've got to nail this. Otherwise we're just going to keep the revolving door going. So before day 1, some things that I've seen really good businesses do is things like a welcome pack that gets sent out to that person before they even start. The welcome pack can include things like key contacts, introductions, a first week schedule maybe, yeah? I've seen businesses where managers or even the business owner gives a phone call to that person before they start, just welcoming them to the team and thanking them for choosing them. It's a two-way thing, recruitment. Little things like that go down in a big way when we start to look at onboarding. The other thing that I've seen a good company do is just send a card before that person starts. Signed by everybody in their team, excited to have you join the team. These little things make a big difference. Onboarding, there's so many wins that don't cost big amount of money, but make a big difference to people. Okay, this is the bit where people go, oh my goodness, how long? You need to have a mapped out structure for the first 90 days of employment. In fact, actually, ideally 100 days. What does the first 90 to 100 days of a new employee look like? Now, this isn't reserved for senior level positions. This is for every role in the business. As you go through the 90 days, yes, maybe the frequency of time can stretch out a little bit in terms of the level of detail. But a new person coming into the business where they can see, potentially even before they start, that their employer has given thought and they have support and they have all this information for their first 90 days will really guarantee a great onboarding and a great probation period. So we said about 82% of people are more likely to stay. So this is important stuff. Include everything from training, check-ins, just pile the information into there so they know what they need to be doing every single day. In that first 90 days, assign them a buddy. That doesn't need to be a manager, doesn't need to be a leader. It doesn't even need to be somebody in the same team. Just somebody that they can pair up with a little bit, have a friendly face to be able to go and ask, how do I work the coffee machine? Yeah? What time does everybody go for lunch? You know, those kind of slightly awkward questions that maybe a new starter isn't comfortable asking. And like I said, that's different to a manager. That's a buddy. So buddy systems are really help drive success at onboarding. The other thing is your check-ins. Your check-ins. In the first week, check in with them every day. All right? In the first month after that, check in every 3 days. And then so on and so forth. Make sure that they have, they have the opportunity to be able to voice 360 any questions, concerns, queries, but also say what they're doing well. Capture that in that moment. All right, you've got an opportunity in those first 90 days. Somebody's new to the business. They want to impress. They want to communicate. They want to help you as a company be better. So you can really kind of harness that. But make sure they have opportunity to do that. The more check-ins, the better. They'll feel really cared for. Again, absolutely helps onboarding success. Okay, let's make sure that our onboarding is social and not transactional. 30% of employees leave within the first year because they don't feel connected to the people in the business. Okay? So in my business, the end of the first week, whenever anybody joins, we all go for a drink on the Friday. Doesn't matter what's going on in the business. Yeah? Social lunches, introductions to people across the business. And even as early on, do they have an opportunity to shadow other people in the business that don't have anything to do with their role, so they understand other parts of the business, how that's working, what they're up to. The more people interaction that you can make in those first 90 days across the team, the better. Make sure that they are being introduced as early as possible to leadership as well. That goes down a long way. There's so many people I speak to who have said in their previous businesses they didn't speak to the CEO or the MD or the business owner for 6-9 months. Make sure that they are making time to do that. Okay, day one should work, not wait. So what do I mean by this? Has anybody been to their first day in a new job and the laptop doesn't work properly, or the phone's not set up, or the stationery's not there? All of these little things shouldn't be getting sorted on day one. They've got to get sorted prior to day one. Some brilliant examples of this, and it's really simple, is that if an employee can come into their new role, be welcomed by everybody, and be shown to their desk, and on their desk is this beautifully laid out, the desk will never look as neat ever again, right? But there's the coffee cup, there's the laptop, there's the phone, there's the pad, there's the pen, there's maybe a little welcome gift. There's everything completely set up. There's the first 90-day schedule. Everything needs to be set up for them to work. And so many businesses get this wrong, where because they take their foot off the gas once they've done the recruitment bit, this bit's just rushed. So day one should work, not wait. In that first week, please sit down with these new employees and start to talk about the mission of the company, the values, and set the expectations as early as possible with these people. Okay? People want to work in a purpose-driven role. It doesn't matter what the role is. Anybody who knows the purpose of what they're doing and what the company is trying to achieve will be instantly more engaged with the role and with the company. So that's a really great meeting to have, and if possible, make sure that meeting is with leadership, wherever possible. Okay? There's one that I didn't actually put up there, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Depending on the size of the company, this one, and it's possibly not completely relevant in this sector, but quite often the success of onboarding or the success of a new employee sits with HR or whoever looks after HR in your businesses. Make the managers of the new employee accountable for the success over the first 30, 60, and 90 days. They need to be absolutely bought into this process and recognize that if this doesn't work out, they have an accountability level at this. All right? Where I see a lot of businesses fall down is that there isn't any accountability for the success of delivering that 90 days, that 90-day roadmap. And it sits too often, especially with bigger businesses, with HR who don't really have a touch point on a daily basis, potentially with this particular employee. So bring managers in, make them accountable. Okay, audit time again. Another minute or two. Thinking about some of the stuff that we've just talked about. Rate your onboarding process out of 10. No 7s allowed, remember? And one thing you would do in the next 30 days to improve your onboarding. Okay, I'm mindful of time a little bit, so I'm going to cut that one a bit short, but hopefully you've got some ideas down. Anyone want to quickly shout out their onboarding score? Anyone brave enough again? Thank you. 6, okay. Another 6. 6 last time, I think. Great. Okay, anything you're going to do in particular in the next 30 days? Say again, sorry? Involve them. Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely, really powerful stuff. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we've recruited them. We've onboarded them. We want to keep them. Remember that bit about them jumping out of bed in the morning, wanting to come and work for you? Let's just cover that off. If you are trying to be the best employer, you will keep the best people. It's as simple as that. All right. So I'm going to whiz through some core principles of great employers. Now, this has not come from me. This has come from studies made of what is perceived to be the best employers globally, that have the best retention numbers and the best engagement scores globally. Many that use Gallup 12. Some of these are large global organizations. Some of them are SMEs with very, very happy people. But there's some principles that come up time and time again when we look closer at those businesses of what is making them really, really successful employers. So I'm just going to go through those now. Every one of these successful businesses has a people-first culture. This is where companies are on an ongoing basis doing everything they can for people not to be just seen as a resource, but to actually put them first in the culture. Yeah, getting them, making people involved with all elements of the business, feel like they're having a say, feel like they belong, feel like they are part of the purpose. All the things that we've talked about, people first culture absolutely wins when it comes to engagement. Okay. World-class employers have clear career and growth pathways mapped out. Now, sometimes we look at this and say, you know, we're not a big business, we're not a big team. There's not these huge, long career pathways. It's just really difficult to map out. So it's quite hard sometimes when we're in an SME. A career, and this is why I call it a career and growth pathway, because career pathway, we sometimes go straight to what's my next promotion, what's my next job title, what's my next salary. But actually, if that's not the right route, it's what's the next thing that person could be responsible for. And that's actually two different things. And if you start to look at that and start to look at the slightly softer things within the business, there's a lot of things that you can give people to make sure that they are feeling that they are progressing within the business without having to pay them more money or give them a different job title. Specific small projects is a great way to make people feel that they are progressing in their careers. Give them ownership of things. Give them more ownership of things. Make them more accountable for different things. Okay? If you can map that out from day one and get it in the EVPs and examples of it in the EVPs, that is going to really set you up to be a great employer. Okay. Companies that demonstrate autonomy, trust, and flexibility are absolutely winning when it comes to getting the best people into their businesses. So what do I mean by this? There's a debate all over the place about flexible working, hybrid working. There's not a business that I've spoken to who hasn't in some way since COVID been trying to get this right and still trying to get it right. The businesses that are winning when it comes to being excellent employers are the ones that are letting the employees drive that. They are not locking themselves in a room trying to come up with what is the right structure for flexible working. They are letting the employees drive it. And what I mean by that, they are setting freedom within a framework. I love that phrase. Freedom within a framework. Companies that are making it absolutely crystal clear with what the expectation is for every single employee, giving them all the tools they need to go and achieve it, and all the training and all the support and all the people around them, and letting them, supported, go and achieve those things. Now that and that can happen within flexible hours, hybrid working, whatever structure it needs to be, but letting the employees come up with that structure is incredibly powerful and getting huge levels of engagement. Companies that have a very, very open communication of feedback. We've talked about the engagement surveys. We've talked about the 360 feedback. Companies that are absolutely doubling down on that, making sure that they have open door policies, making sure that any new things that are happening in the business are really openly communicated, is again really helping companies to achieve really, really big engagement scores. Recognition and rewards. Companies that can demonstrate that they are regularly recognizing good work and rewarding for it. Again, this doesn't have to be bonuses and promotions and things like that, but leadership and management who are recognizing good work on a regular basis and make it a point within their culture, we're talking at a culture level, again, are achieving really, really great engagement from employees. Building a sense of belonging and purpose. absolutely at a culture level, making sure that all employees feel part of the bigger picture of the business in some way? Do they all understand the role that they individually take towards the bigger picture? Companies that are achieving that at a cultural level are achieving great. Great retention and engagement. And then finally, systematic retention and engagement. Now, a lot of this stuff might seem quite full on, and it might seem like a project. The difference is you might be able to do all this sort of stuff. Don't just do it once. Build it into your businesses and make sure it is regular. Make sure it is a focus. Make sure it's strategic. Make sure recruitment and retention is part of your your marketing pillars within the business. Make sure they are part of leadership conversations. And the companies that are absolutely committed to good retention and engagement are becoming some of the world-class employers. Okay, we're very tight on time, so give yourself a score, and again, one thing that you'll do in the next 30 days, you guys can do that yourselves. Quick recap: stop recruiting, talk to your team, create your EVP. Make sure that you're very clear that your first impressions are absolutely on point. Review your marketing. Start the referral schemes if you can. Focus on your onboarding. And be the best employers that you can. Thank you very much for listening. And any questions? Yes?
And the second part is people in the office.
Yes.
So my question is, how do you deal with Generation Z?
The question went quite left field there. Yeah, okay. Every generation that you employ has different motivations, different drivers. Part of making a lot of this stuff work that we've just talked about is it's actually a lot in that employee profile. Who are the employees that either you're targeting or who are realistically going to be coming into your business? Gen Zs get a bit of a hard time. My view on that is that actually there's a level of acceptance that we all need to have, that they are just motivated and driven in a different way than maybe some of the other generations. All of the stuff that we've just talked about is relevant to them. It just needs to be targeted, much like you would have your customer profile targeted towards Gen Z, if that is the type of employee that either is realistically going to be coming into the business or that you are actively targeting. In fact, actually, quite a lot of this stuff is more appealing to Gen Z than anyone else. Gen Z get a bad rep that they don't want to work. Yeah, that's absolutely not true. If you provide a platform where they feel supported, they can learn and grow, they get feedback, good or bad. There's a mentor program, for example, and things are mapped out so they feel safe. They know if they do that, that this is where they will go. Not just promotions, but with the additional responsibilities. The more information you can give to that generation with a lot of the stuff we've talked about, that's how you get a lot of success with employing Gen Z.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.